here. Please welcome the president of Jimmy Choo, Tanya Golesic. We're so happy to have you here. I mean, Jimmy Choo is not a little deal. This is a big deal. You're the president. You're in charge of all the Americas. And it all started in a very small town in Canada.
It sure did.
So tell us a little bit about where you're from and how, like, the trajectory to get to here.
Sure. So Jimmy Choo, just to be clear, didn't start in the small town. I started in the small town.
Just Tanya, not Jimmy Choo.
Exactly, so not that big of a deal. I started in Gananoque, Ontario, for anyone in the audience who actually knows. Or Gan, as people from Gananoque say.
Yeah.
So town of 4,700 people, I think it's 5,400 now.
Wow.
My parents own the Gananoque Inn, which is a hotel that, you know, has been there for, my God, I think 50 years now.
Yeah.
So I grew up there. My mother had 2 clothing stores in Kingston. And from that time, I really used to come on buying trips to Toronto with her, and it just seemed to be something natural. I thought, you know, I was at Queen's University, I was going to be a lawyer, and then I was like, wait, I'm actually, you know, loving this fashion thing. And my mother was always a kind of my style icon growing up. So
nice.
Came to Toronto, started working in Toronto for Peter Nygaard, and then I begged and begged and begged to move to New York City in my 20s because I thought, okay, how can I, you know, do something more? And went to New York, and I was recruited there by Ralph Lauren to work for Ralph Lauren. I've worked for Marc Jacobs, I've worked for Jimmy Choo, so some really great brands, and I've been in New York for 18 years.
Amazing. Now I heard you were just you were just at a shindig for Marc Jacobs. What was the event?
Well, the shindig was his wedding, and I didn't actually realize I was even invited until his fiance sent me a text message a week before the wedding saying, "You're the only person that hasn't RSVP'd for our wedding." And I'm like, he's like, are you not coming? And I was wedding it, but I'd moved, and so the invitation went to my old apartment. I'm like, of course I'm coming. So it's obviously a massive party, amazing party, and everyone in the world who's someone was there in terms of celebrities, models. So it was just beyond.
Amazing. It sounds like it was so boring.
Yeah.
I feel so bad for you that you had to go to that. So that's incredible. You talk a little bit about your mom being your style icon.
Yes.
So I want to know, and this could be from mom or dad or anyone else in your career, the best advice you've received.
100%.
And then maybe, if you can think of it, the worst. Because I like hearing bad advice too. So we can stay away. But let's start with the best. What's the best advice? The
best advice that I ever received was never ask someone to do something you won't do yourself. So that for me was like,
I like that. That's a good one. So it's about the work ethic. So you be good at every phase of the career. If you are the one cleaning the floors or the toilet, you do it really, really well. You don't ask someone else to do it if you would not do it.
Correct.
That's great.
Yep.
Bad advice?
Bad advice. Oh, I don't know that I've ever really had any bad advice. I think I've given myself bad advice. I think I've been really lucky that way. But I think the bad advice for me, and a lesson that I learned and failed at, was always go with your gut. And one time I chose not to, career-wise, and I don't regret it because I learned, I failed, and I got back on my feet. And so that's one thing. I wouldn't say it's bad advice; it's great advice, but never not do it.
Don't not listen to your gut. Listen to it always. It's going to take you in the right place.
Always.
In terms of challenges, I'm sure you have your fair share of them. Getting to the point where you're the president of Jimmy Choo. Any big ones that stick out for you that you were able to overcome? Definitely not listening to your gut. But is there anything specifically that you faced in the workplace that you had to sort of overcome?
You know, I think, as boring as this sounds, because I think we've had a lot of conversation about this over the last year particularly, I think women still in fashion, I think, you know, the fashion industry is dominated by men, which is fine, but I think that there's still an opportunity for us to use our voices and to help each other and to build great teams with women. And it's more, you know, women's empowerment. And that's something that we're really focusing on right now at Jimmy Choo in terms of some of the new ad campaigns that you'll see. But it's really supporting other women. And fashion is a very, very competitive business.
Yes.
And I think that the more we can help each other, the better we all are together collectively. And I think that's how we raise each other up in order to, you know, become powerful women and to become the boss, you know, and I think we still have a lot of work to do on that, and there's a lot
Yes.
of opportunity there. And I think that's in a lot of industries, but especially in the fashion industry.
Totally. It's just strange to me because you think fashion and you think about how there are billions of dollars being spent by women. You would think that women are running the industry, but it's like most industries. You get all the way to the upper echelons and it's usually men that are in charge.
Yes.
So I just want to ask you quickly about the shoes.
Of course.
The shoes are amazing. Everyone from Princess Diana to Beyonce, we used to see it all the time on Sex and the City, have worn the Jimmy Choo shoes. So how are the shoes made? Why are, what makes them so valuable?
So valuable. So they're so valuable. Speaking of women's empowerment, our creative director, Sandra Choi, who's amazing, is a female creative director, and she's Jimmy Choo's niece. So she was there since day one when Lady Diana would pull up to Jimmy's little studio and have shoes made. So Sandra's amazing. All of our shoes are made in Italy, and you know, everything's made by hand, and the detail, the craftsmanship, it's pretty old school in terms of what it is. And Jimmy Choo has been known for the red carpet for Sex and the City, and you know, we've had so many incredible women. Michelle Obama became the first lady in her shoes.
Yes.
So we'll be doing a marketing campaign around In My Choos.
Yes.
And women telling stories about wearing Jimmy Choo and how, you know, they either became a doctor, a lawyer, you know, got into university, got married in shoes. So it's really exciting, but that's exactly why.
Well, from Gananoque to the world. Thank you so much for joining us today,
Thank you.
Tanya. We wish you continued success.
Thank you.
And thank you for repping the gender so well.